Hello and welcome to Queers and Soaps. I'm Eric, joined once again with that guy,
Hey, how are you guys?
Bevan, bringing you some more the end of season 6 of Dallas, episodes 26 to 28. Tom, you roll the credits and we'll chat. So we're wrapping up my DVDs. We're wrapping up the 1982 to 83 season, and as I was watching these, I decided to look up to see if they were nominated for any awards, and no, none of them really were. I think Larry Hagman had a Golden Globe nomination. I was like, okay.
Yeah,
Um, and I felt like Ray did some really good stuff in these episodes, and then in the early next season, I think that's some of his best material. Steve Canale. Yeah, it was a good ending. I kind of forgot some stuff, but I remembered some stuff. So the first, what is it? Episode 26 is Things Ain't Looking Too Good at South Fork. Sue Ellen sees Holly and JR in bed and runs off as Holly is kind of playing it, because she saw and she's like, okay.
yeah,
I remember I said in the last batch that I knew Holly didn't mean for this to go the way it did, but here we are, and it
yeah,
did. And I kept thinking of what you said too the last time, like how everybody's actions lead to, these dire circumstances in a way.
yeah. So it's Holly prattles on about she seems so together and all this sort of stuff, and it's it's just all this sort of stuff where it's just don't get me wrong, I get her reasoning and yada yada yada. It's she's she feels guilty. I don't necessarily see it as it's just in of itself. It's just I don't know. I think about the characters and some of the things that they say over the course of these 3 episodes in reflection on what's happened. And it's more like I think they're all crazy. So y'all should have been looking at this about 3 steps ago. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like maybe one dead person ago. Like it's sort of yeah, I always sort of don't get me wrong, I get it for the sake of the show and everything, but in a sense of if this was real, I'd be like, you're all fucking insane and you will need therapy and you will need to stop. Just stop, because you're destructive as hell.
Well, I mean, in real life, a lot of people need therapy, and you want to tell them the same thing. So, I mean,
True. This is true, but like it's just the soapy people, it's funny to me because um in the context of the show, you get it and blah blah blah. But I always, every so often, I'll sort of take myself out of a moment, and I'll be like, I have been through some crazy soapy dramas in my life, but it is never and not every day. Like
right, right.
these people
You
are
get
like,
a
I'm
day
going
off.
for a business meeting, and I suppose things happen, but you know, a plane crashes on a business meeting, all in the context of all this other drama. Soapies are just crazy.
Yeah. So we have dinner at South Fork. Aunt Lil and Ellie talk. Everybody's there for this one, I think, except for Pam. Sue Ellen goes to a bar and has vodka on the rocks. I can't do that. I don't think I've ever could have one straight liquor. I was never into
Mm,
that.
I I think it depends with me. I mean, if I was sort of crashing and burning like Sue Ellen was emotionally and mentally, I could probably do it. Yeah.
Nope, not me. I would be like Cosmo. I mean, I
Well, there's
need.
a way. Look, I mean, there's a way that you drink and you don't really taste it. Like you can just let it go down.
Yeah,
Like
she does
it's
need to do that. She can gulp
yeah.
that
She
shit.
sort of she doesn't. Yeah, that's true actually too. She does chug at it, but there is that way where you sort of drink if and if you don't want to taste it exactly, you can sort of you know
I
not
like that.
bypass. Yeah,
I like that scene later when Pam goes to see Sue Ellen and Sue Ellen started pouring vodka and she downs what's in the glass and hides the bottle. She kills me. Anyway, um, so Pam calls about Afton's phone call. She's very upset. calls from France. She's like, "I'm coming to South Fork, Bobby.
Mm.
I heard about Catherine and you and and Christopher, and that's all she knew." She gets all in a huff over it. She doesn't even know what the hell's going on. She couldn't understand what Afton says. Bobby mentions Sue Ellen was going to Holly's to JR, and JR gets like nervous because
Mm.
he's like, "Oh no, she didn't see me." Because I guess he thought the same thing Holly did. Like if Sue Ellen saw them, that like she'd probably say something. But
It's
nope.
because he didn't see her. He didn't know she was there at all. So for him, he's saying you couldn't have because it's inconceivable to him that she's seen it with her own eyes because he
Right.
didn't see her. And like that's what I mean. Like I think that's where the outrage was Sue Ellen. Like that scene, which JR comes back and like he couldn't have, and all that. That is so utterly awful. He just gaslights her immediately. Just
Yep.
immediately. Like she's obviously a wreck. Like look at her. And yeah.
So Mickey and Lucy banged. I don't remember if they banged at this point yet, but they did now. So they were just in
They sort of
bed.
make they made it like a workaround point that like Mickey wanted to wait because of her last experience. He was fine with waiting and then he started caring, so he wanted it to be more special.
Clayton gets home. Sue Ellen's passed out in his bed. So she went there, and I think she said that she was his sister and schmoozed her way in, basically. She kind of comes on to him and whatever, then thinks nothing of it the next day. Pam
Mm.
talks to Bobby. She's like, "What is Catherine to you?" And he's like, "Well, what is Mark to you? Like, what are you doing?" He explains
Oh,
to
you mean that
Catherine.
conversation? That whole conversation the next day was so weird. Like she essentially demands an explanation from Bobby. He gives her
Right.
one to reassure her, and then when he
Catherine's
asks,
his best friend. Catherine's there
yeah,
for him when she hasn't been, and all of that.
yeah, but not even just that. Like he answers her questions and actually is reassuring. And then when he asks her the same thing, she's like, "Well, I don't feel like I have to answer that. I just wanted to slap her." I'm like, "Excuse me."
Yeah, I know. She's
I
being
was
an
like,
asshole.
I don't know why they like that.
And this
Fucking
is
stupid. It
and
was
this is when
actually stupid. It was a
she was
stupid thing to say.
demanding to get Christopher back and all this stuff, and like
No, I just mean
thinking
like
that
it's
he
actually
would.
just stupid dialogue. It's stupid
Right.
dialogue that doesn't make
It's
sense.
it's stupid for her to even think that Bobby would hurt Christopher. He's like, I would think it would be better. He would be better off with me while you're in Paris. Like,
Yeah, but like at least on some level you can sit there and go, okay, custody sort of thing. It's more like the literal logic of her asking all these questions and then in the same breath turning around and saying, I don't have to answer these to you when they aren't in that like it's just illogical. It's not even just I actually think that like I just think it was poor writing in the dialogue. Like I'm like, I get what they're trying to say, but Pam came off like a actual numpty, like a
yeah.
dipshit.
I also think it could be seen as she doesn't know who Bobby is anymore, so she just thinks the worst of things.
I
Because she
get
does.
no, I can understand to a degree her getting a bit paranoid about things like relationships, or like what was it, or even Christopher to a degree because of things like custody. On some level, I do get the sort of leaning into that paranoid element because she doesn't know what Bobby's capable of to a degree, but
Mm.
the actual conversation between them is dumb. Like it's just dumb. Like her responses are dumb. Like I just
Right.
can't. Like it doesn't. Bobby's entire sort of what happens here, and I just don't understand exactly. I sort of feel like I understand what they were trying to write for Pam in terms of how they're at this loggerheads. So overall, I don't mind it. I just was actually struck by how idiotic she is written in that scene.
Right.
Like it's not. It was dumb. I don't, and I,
Yeah.
at least in my opinion. I mean, obviously, if someone can explain it to me in a way that makes sense,
How did
because
you
Pam
feel? Write
didn't.
in the comments below.
Yeah, like I just think it was stupid dialogue on that
Yeah.
part. That's all. I just think it could have been written better because obviously, like, there's a way you can say I don't feel like I need to answer to you in without saying I don't think I should have to answer the question, even though he just did the same thing. There's a way you
Right.
can sit there and go, okay, I don't have to answer to you, but I didn't do this. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like Pam has to be like pressured into just about anything. Like they're
Right.
almost arguing before she turns around. And she's like, "Well, I didn't sleep with Mark," and it's like, "Well, girl." come on. Like, I just didn't like that whole scene. I just thought it was dumb, badly, well, not badly
It was.
written, at least written in a way that I didn't relate to. It didn't seem like a real response.
Right, right. Sue Ellen tells Clayton everything that happened with JR and
Yeah.
Holly and all that stuff. Bobby sees the paper that Walt Driscoll is missing. Bobby
Mm.
tells JR about Sue Ellen. McLeish sees Cliff about the deal. He says something like he wants to do the deal with Bobby if the drill bit comes in and all that, whatever.
Yeah,
Side bullshit. The drill bit. I mean, we should do like a shot every time they say drill bit in these episodes.
at least, yeah. For these couple, it has been a bit that way.
It's like Takapa.
Oh,
Um, Catherine says that she's Bobby's friend, and she says explains it to Pam or whatever. But we all know obviously that she wants him. Cliff and JR meet up, and they're being tools. Cliff thinks he's gonna have something over JR, and JR's like, "Yeah, whatever. Battle me anytime. It's stupid bullshit. Same shit. They're like
yeah,
5-year-olds."
yeah,
Sue Ellen drank again, and then she's coming on to Clayton, and Ellie comes. At least she didn't come in this time and see it, which would usually happen.
mm,
She questions Sue Ellen. Sue Ellen's like, I don't want to go home and all this stuff. Clayton explains that it's over. He doesn't have feelings for her anymore because Ellie, still feels a certain way. These episodes also continue Ellie running from her family again, being the wonderful mother that she is.
yeah.
But Clayton forces her this time.
He
Forces
does a
her.
bit. He's like, I'm not taking no for an answer.
Yeah. Cliff gloats to Afton about the JR and Bobby war or whatever.
Mm,
Afton warns Pam about Catherine and talks about the drill
yeah,
bit.
because Pam comes in all pissed off, and Afton, who is the only one with a brain, is just like, well,
So
I'm
true.
sorry, but like Catherine is not come for Pam. Pam doesn't click onto Catherine until like the end of season 7 or some bullshit. And I just, once again, it's just like, is Pam actually have a brain?
Right.
Like, because Catherine's not hiding, and she's not hiding in plain sight or anything. Catherine's actions become pretty obvious, and Pam's still like, she's my sister.
Yeah. Pam is right. I mean, whatever. I guess it was hard to write, but does a lot of stupid things in these episodes.
Yeah, no, not even no. I get like, don't get me wrong. It's like I like Pam overall. Still, it's just like when these scenes where, like I can understand how Catherine sort of like talks her way out of things. I get how it goes. I get how it goes in terms of the way it's gone. But it's more like later on when Catherine's like obviously being sus and stuff. Although maybe I'm remembering it wrong. It has been a while since I watched season 7, so it just could be something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But Afton asks like, whose side are you on? Like, pick
Mm.
one. So, and the whole thing is like, if Pam doesn't go with Catherine with the drill bit, it looks like she's on JR's side, which of course she would never take. But if she gives the
Mm.
drill bit to Bobby, her marriage is over. But I feel
Yeah.
like either way, her marriage is over. Like that's what I think Mark says it at one point. He's like, well, what?
That's
You
because
know,
of the limitations Pam's putting on it. Like, if he
right.
gets the drill bit, he gets the company, the marriage is over. If she doesn't, then it's her fault and the marriage is over. It's like, Pam, you're like, come on. Like, everybody, it's not universal. Like,
Right.
and like, did you ever think that if Bobby, like, obviously things don't go that way, blah, blah, blah. But at this point, like, she's seen Bobby when he's struggling and when he's fighting, like, when he's sitting on top. I mean, that's it's not really going to be the same thing, is it? And
Well, who
it's
was
like,
it?
oh, but how has he changed? It's just, I think Pam's a little bit too much in what she sees as the fallout here. I mean, the marriage actually doesn't have to end if you don't want it to end. Like,
Who
this
was
isn't
right?
some
Who
this
was it
isn't
that went
some
off on Pam?
uncontrollable event.
Who wasn't that went off on Pam and said something like that?
Oh,
Um, was it Afton?
I think it might have been.
I think it was because that's when she said like, "Whose side are you on?" Like she didn't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Afton's the only one with a brain.
Yeah.
Like, oh, and that's including like Bobby and JR and everybody at this point. She's the only one that's actually sort of stood back and just like watched everything and just been like,
Mm.
okay, this is what's happening. And she's right.
So Clayton and Ellie bring Sue Ellen home. JR gets home. Of course, Sue Ellen's drunk. Of course, nobody puts the liquor away until in the last episode. Finally, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Whatever.
Yeah.
Ellie yells at JR, which I really liked. She's like, "You did it to her again." I was like, "Damn!" I
It's like,
almost thought she
wow.
was going to hit her the way she was
Like,
like going toward JR, but she like walked past them.
don't you ever learn?
Yeah,
And he
um,
doesn't. The answer is no.
it's true. So Sue Ellen's like walking to the car. Lucy says, "Nikki, get in the car, go off," and she's leaving South Fork, and someone runs the car off the road.
Yeah. And there's a big old
Um,
flip.
and yeah, I guess because Sue Ellen, like the way it looked like Sue Ellen like saw the car like coming, but like went like this, and then the car like sideswiped, and then it flipped over.
The
So
road, that highway has those big dips on the side as well. But it just went.
yeah,
Although
and you
I
know
feel
what?
like the car would have had to be going faster given the amount of flips, but this is a soap opera, so.
I wish when I looked when I was at South Fork, I looked for that, but I didn't think of that.
Well,
Should
to
have
be
looked.
fair, dude, it might even be different now. The road could be more leveled out. I mean, this was like
It could
the
be. It
what,
could be.
83 or some shit. I just noticed that we have heaps of roads around here like that, like out of town, because it's all farmland and stuff. So it's like a lot of highway, and I'm sure highways generally have some sort of like raised thing, but like I just meant it reminded me of actual like the sugarcane fields and stuff like that that you see off the highway up in my
Yeah.
state and everything. Yeah.
So episode
It'd be easy to flip a
27.
card off there.
Episode 27 is penultimate. There's
Yeah.
always a penultimate episode. I feel like there's 10 of them in these seasons.
I feel like every one of the shows had a penultimate. I'm pretty sure I watched a Falcon Crest recently that had a penultimate.
You are correct.
Yeah.
Um, it opens with the accident scene. There's a ton of cops and everything all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
That one car did escape with the side swiper.
Mm.
And their car is upside down. Mickey and Sue Ellen are in it. Ray gets a call about the accident. Pam apologizes to Bobby. They talk about Mark. They talk about being in France. And I guess this is like they're kind of like starting, I don't know, talk about separation and divorce. And he's like, let's just go out. I think
Mm.
they bump into Punk and what's his wife's name? Do you remember? Punk and Beatrice? I forget.
No.
Punk and Mauve? I forget.
Mavis.
Who?
It's Mavis.
Mavis, thank you. Punk and Mavis, and like that's when they find out about the situation. The gang gets to the hospital. Lucy feels really guilty because she told him to get in the car. JR brings Sue Ellen out. She looks a hot mess. No word on Mickey yet. He's still in surgery and whatever's going on there. Lucy tells the sheriff that Sue Ellen was drunk.
She goes
Um,
off her head and tells the sheriff that Sue Ellen was drunk. I
yeah,
actually really like Sue Ellen's makeup in that. They did really well on her busted face.
they did all of her marks, her leg and everything. So yeah, before Punk and
The
Mavis
swelling on that lip.
before they pump into Bobby and Pam, Pam brings up the drill bit. So they start
Mm.
talking about that. Bobby's like, I didn't know I was going to bring it up. Whatever. And Sue Ellen cries to Ellie, which was kind of sad. She's like, my
Mm.
marriage is over, and she's breaking down and drinking everything because nobody locks up the liquor when the alcoholic is back.
Arguably, it should have been locked up even when she was on the wagon, just in case. Like, don't treat it like it's not like it's just done.
Seriously, there's too
But
much liquor.
like it's not even like so like even the way we approach things with like alcoholism in that regard, that's all fairly new in terms of like to approach to like curb like possible, to make sure you don't sort of relapse. But like we just understand addiction and the behaviors and the patterns surrounding it so much differently than we did back then. Like I think
True.
we knew obviously the gist of it, but I think these days we're just far more aware of like like how like addictive behavior is, and it's just stuff like that. So like
I mean,
while I do have a
so,
laugh about some of it because you think it's common sense, it
right.
it's like it probably just didn't occur, and unless she was off the wagon.
But even so, like they dealt with this before, and like you would think the first thing they would do was lock that shit up, but no, they leave it out. Um,
But like, look how long it took Sue Ellen to even admit she has a problem. How long would it take people to admit that they partially enable an addict? It's really hard. Like, and that's the thing. That's why a lot of the time addicts will leave
the whole house.
the top. Pardon?
There's not one person in that house that says, "Oh, maybe we should lock up the liquor." Like not
Exactly. But
one.
that's my point, though. But people don't know. So don't get me wrong. It's the addict's responsibility, but when we're around situations like that and people and essentially enable behaviors, like this is what I mean. We understand addictive and pattern behaviors so much differently now that we understand how even our environment, the people around us, can reinforce those to make those bad decisions. You know what I mean? Like,
I almost wish Teresa would have, like the maid Teresa would have like been like, "Oh shit, I'm gonna lock up the liquor," because I remember what
I think
happened
I
5
think
years
that's what it was. Sue Ellen says later, "Oh, Teresa was protecting me from it." I'm like, I feel like Teresa is the only one with a brain. Like just before, like with Afton, like yeah, poor Teresa
ago.
with no fucking screen time.
But meanwhile, she's back in the house. The liquor's still out.
Mm,
Clayton tells JR off about Sue Ellen. Bobby breaks it up because Clayton's about to kill him.
yeah.
Um, then the docs tell Ray, Lil, and Donna and Lucy about Mickey basically is fucked up at this point. All kinds of shit's going on. Neck, back, all
Aunt
doctor
Lil's
speak.
poking all those sad faces, which tug at the heartstrings.
Yeah, it's
Mm,
bad. Ain't looking good for Mickey. Bobby goes to Holly about Sue Ellen and JR. He's like, she was an alcoholic. You don't know what you did. And Holly's like, yeah, I really didn't know. Like, I had no idea.
whoopsie.
She's like, she seemed like she had her shit together. I didn't know. I guess Holly never read a paper because I feel like that shit was in the papers back in 79, 80. But maybe Holly was a young man.
It's not even sort of just that. How could she be naive enough to think that she would just go, "Oh, cut the affair up and never do it again"? You know what I mean? Like, why would you assume that? Why wouldn't you assume that there would be a divorce? Why would you assume that infidelity in a marriage wouldn't tear it apart? Like,
Right.
there's a level here where Holly is also a dipshit that doesn't make sense to me. Like, I get that she feels guilty because she's not awful, but her expectations, I think, actually, I find on reflection, actually, it makes sense. She's trying to reduce her own impact by being like, I didn't mean to. She seems so together. But really, when you think about it on a common sense level, why would you think that this wouldn't blow up?
Right.
You know? So in that way,
Holly
maybe
is
that's why.
young, but
Maybe
Holly,
even that's a good way to look at Pam earlier. Like she's kind of rationalizing her own jealousy there and then kind of getting defense. Oh, there we go.
but I feel like
I
there's a
understand that
difference
the
because
scene better. I shouldn't have trashed it so much earlier. It makes a bit more
there's an
sense to me
age
now if you're looking at it
there's
from
an
a
age there's an age difference though with Holly and Pam. Like Holly, I feel like is more naive anyway, like because she's like in her early 20s, where Pam's in like her early 30s, maybe
yeah.
late 20s.
Yeah,
Um,
that's fair. That's fair.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like I'm more naive because, like, I mean, Holly is always going to Jr. Bobby, because she don't know what she's doing. So I do believe that Holly really thought that this was what's going to happen. She didn't think about Sue Ellen, didn't think about her having an addiction of some sort. She didn't
No,
know
yeah. I think it's not even just so much the specifics. It's literally just like, why would you think this wouldn't blow a marriage apart?
because she's 23. So she didn't
I
think.
suppose.
I,
Yeah, yeah.
I
That's probably the
really think
best.
it was
Yeah, like
naivety
she's in
on
it.
her part.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. But
I really
that
do.
does no, but that does sort of speak to a sort of idiotic youth thing that you can understand, because kids are stupid.
And then he
But
even
good
said like,
ways. I
and
like
it left,
kids. They're just dumb.
a young like guy in the hospital, and she was like, "Oh man, like she didn't like who'd
Mm.
who'd have thunk that it would lead to that mess."
Oh, the Mickey thing is even no with when it comes to like with Holly, I sort of don't so much. I get her feeling guilty over the Mickey thing in the long run, but it's more the Sue Ellen breakdown thing. It's just that.
Well,
Maybe it
no, but
didn't go that far, but even the marriage in of itself, it's and yeah,
but
you're right to a degree. But yeah, I
he
just think
said
as
that
in breaking a
too.
marriage apart in general, let alone everything else that happens. I just feel like
Right.
it does actually make sense for a character who's regretful to also rationalize the action.
But he did say to Holly about Mickey too before he left. That's what I'm saying. Like, and she was just like, "Oh shit!" Like, I didn't
Yeah,
even.
it just adds on. Yeah.
Yeah, it just kind of adds on to her. Mark goes to Pam and talks about his feelings and all that and whatever, being annoying in my opinion. He's like,
It
just
is
bring good
largely a
hope.
little bit side at this point, like the that sort of stuff, considering what's going on in this episode, and then like the next one, it is kind of put not on the back burner. I'd say I wouldn't say the back burner, but it is not as interesting. So
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like Mark's in the wrong here, like, because he should know better. Like, let her deal with her shit. And even like, I feel like Mark seeing how she deals with shit, like, that wouldn't make me like attracted to someone. I'd be like, you don't know how to handle your shit, so I'm not going to be involved with you. You give me a call when you get your shit together. That's how I would
But
handle
that's the savior thing, man. That's the savior thing. And it might
it.
not manifest the same way, but blokes are still doing that. They even gay dudes do it. They think they can save you.
Well, he's like, well, just tell me there's hope, and she's like, there's hope, whatever. But
Yeah, basically. But no, I
um,
otherwise agree. So while I like the Mark character, there's actually been, I think, is this episode and I think the one before last, where I'm like, whoa, like I realized it's a time thing, and I'm like, oh, pushy. More pushy than I remember.
he doesn't
Like,
have good timing at all.
no,
He really does in all circumstances.
yeah.
Um, So Ray gets on Chief Fenton about the other driver. He's like, "Listen, I'm gonna take action. My nephew's in there, like suffering. Um, I got to do something." And Chief Fenton is played by the guy that's in One Tree Hill, right? Corbin,
Barry Corbin, yeah.
Barry Corbin.
Yeah, so
Um,
Fenton, I actually felt bad for Fenton in this because, like, Ray gets in his face and, like, accuses him basically of, like, ignoring shit, and he's not trying to do that. Like, he's just like,
but
but
to his defense, he would do shit for JR in the past, and Ray knows about that stuff because remember Ray
yeah,
used
but
to
he
be.
never, he would give JR preferential treatment in terms of, like, when you deliver a statement and stuff like that. He never actually didn't litigate. He investigated, and when Kristen died, Fenton might have hit Cliff a bit harder because he doesn't like Cliff. He even says that he doesn't like him, but JR and Cliff were both questioned. And I think if JR actually did do something, he would arrest him.
I also noticed Barry Corbin's teeth in these episodes, and if you look at his bottom teeth, they're really disgusting. I'm like, the man needs dental work, and I don't know if that was just a character fake teeth thing because I couldn't tell. Check now. Now you're going to be on
Man,
it
have you
next
seen?
time.
Okay, like, come on. Have you paid attention to the last 6 seasons? There's a lot of older actors with shitbox teeth. You
That
didn't
is
need to have the pearly whites back in the day. But on a side note, whatever issues he may have had, I'm pretty sure they're fixed because in One Tree Hill, they're shiny.
he got that Dallas money, so he was able to go
Yeah.
to a dentist.
Yeah, like
Um,
no, I definitely think that's probably just an old TV thing and like different, the way people TV. Come on, do you see some of the people on TV in the 60s and the 70s? Jesus Christ,
I'm just a hardcore dentist person, so I do
they're
notice
like
teeth a lot.
you go, oh, teeth. What about their faces?
Well, yeah.
They're like, oh, they're so hot. Okay, okay, I guess you had to be there.
So, and I think in this scene also, JR is in the scene with Fenton, and he's kind of like acting along and like, yeah,
Mm.
you need to get on that. With Ray. Brings up Sue Ellen. Oh yeah, brings up Sue Ellen being drunk, and he says, "You're not going to listen to my dingaling niece about that, right?" Um, I had to laugh at that
Yeah.
dingaling. And he also says and Sue Ellen's on the stairs, and he's like, if this guy ends up dead, I'm gonna have to arrest her for manslaughter. And I was like, ooh, shit.
Yeah.
So shit's getting serious. But Sue Ellen don't give a fuck, and she just keeps on drinking on. Get
Oh
that
no,
vodka, girl.
she had a little momentary. You see her face, like she doesn't move it a whole lot, but she sort of like has a sort of moment on the stairs
Oh
there, like
yeah,
'cause
she's
it's getting
terrified.
serious.
she's terrified and she feels bad, but she's going to drink that shit away.
Yeah, numb the
Um,
pain.
Cliff tells Mark that he is Team Mark. He's like, yeah, I want you to be my new brother-in-law and all this stuff, and just talking a good game.
That doesn't surprise me. Cliff was always like that, though. Like, he was always
Yeah,
gonna. Yeah.
a douche. Donna gives Ray a pep talk. Bobby stops Sue Ellen from drinking, although I think she did get a little vodka in her when he was talking to her. And Sue Ellen's like, "Why did I do it again? Like that's
Mm.
like, why did I marry him again? She didn't learn the first time. We all said this.
I felt for Sue Ellen so hard with these episodes, though. She's
I
just.
know.
There's times there where, like, even when that conversation with Miss Ellie, you've got the dialogue, but it's how Linda Gray is sobbing in between her words and stuff like that. Like, man, I've been that brokenhearted before, and it's fucking horrible. It's so horrible. It's,
Yeah,
and I felt for her so much. I'm like,
I
oh,
know.
it's okay, sis. You'll get through this.
Barely.
Yeah,
Um,
barely.
JR goes to Holly. He's like, I really underestimated you. And then he offers, he's like, I'm going to do something I'll never do for anybody. I'm going to offer to buy you out for $20 million. And of course,
Mm,
that'll help him win Ewing.
yeah.
And she doesn't want to do it because she's like, she doesn't want to help JR win. And then I think she talks to Bobby later, and Bobby's like, well, if you could do like $50 a month. And so, like,
Yeah, like paying it off or whatever. And she kind of mentions it to JR, and JR's just like, no.
he wants a lump sum or nothing. And she tries to act like she has the power over him, but she can't.
He's got her over a
Um,
barrel there, yeah.
yeah. Um, Pam tells Christopher, even though he's a baby, that she loves Bobby, but she just can't live with him again. And I'm like,
Mm,
whatever. But you know what? I'm kind of over it right now too, because of how Pam's acting. I'm like, whatever.
yeah.
I was always
I,
team Bobby and
I
Pam, but
I still love Pam and all, but this isn't her best writing. She's a bit frustrating, to say the least.
very.
And I even
Um,
understand why she had to get away and everything. Like a couple of like episodes we did, like, I'm like, I probably should understand. I can understand not wanting to be in the house, yada yada yada, seeing a feud, yada yada yada. But like, she's like just finding excuses to you almost, you know what I mean? That's what it seemed like. I don't think it's supposed to come off that way, but at the same time, it kind of does.
Lucy doesn't want to talk to Sue Ellen. She's over her bullshit. No words. Holly tells Bobby about JR's offer. That's where he says to pay an installment. She's like, yeah, I'll try. Anything to
Yeah,
help. She loves her Bobby. Cliff goes to Pam, mentions, I like how brotherly he was being. He's like, oh, and I talked to your boyfriend, Mark. She's like, don't talk like that. Shut
yeah,
up. And they talk about the drill bit. Do a shot. Um, if Mick, oh, and then the doctors tell everybody if Mickey wakes up that he could be paralyzed from the neck down with all the
most
injuries that.
likely will be paralyzed.
And then JR, I think JR's talking to Sue Ellen's drunk self, and he's like, "Oh, I love you, Sue Ellen," and all this stuff. And I'm like,
There's a moment, yeah, she's passed out on the bed. John Ross comes and gives her a kiss and runs off. He doesn't really realize, Jaya has this little like monologue almost, and it's like I sort of sit there and I think, why don't you? And she's not gonna like let you say that, but why don't you just wait and say that to her? Admit what you've done and say that to her and see what gets you. It's not gonna be good, but you know what I mean. Like just like there's no authenticity. It's like, bro, don't say this shit while she's asleep.
right.
And also, don't say it right now because she's going to want to bite your face off, and rightly so.
And it would be sweet if he didn't cause all of this. So,
It's always that's
yeah,
the thing, though. That's the thing. He will always cause it.
right.
He
He'll
will
never
always
take the
cause it.
blame for it.
Yeah.
So, episode 28, Ewing Inferno. Wonder how this one will end.
Mm.
Good thing
This
they
is
didn't
like
say
one of my.
titles.
I still think this is probably my favorite cliffhanger. One
It's
thing
a
I'd
good
say
one.
over watching these last 3 episodes as well, is even though I sort of knew by the numbers what would happen, one thing that did sort of occur was I was getting G'd up while I was watching it because of I've always thought that this season was one of their best writing, and the way everything kind of sort of progressively sort of not necessarily just gets worse, but
Good
like
for
it
Pam.
just flows so perfectly narratively. I mean, sure, Pam's annoying and stuff, but even if it is and stuff like that, but like overall, the events, the stories, they sort of flow, and you see South Fork just engulfed at the end, you know. And
Right.
I with live flames, by the way, which I always appreciate, but like
It was a good one.
it was so well done. It was so
It
well
was.
done. I still and everybody is actually in legitimate peril.
Right.
Like that makes sense. It's not just because I'm on hallucinogenic drugs. I'm going to jump off a balcony.
Right. So it starts off with Ray going to Sheriff Fenton again. And then he mentions that you're trying to cover this up for JR.
Mm.
Um, and whatever. Fenton's like, no, I'm not. Whatever. I'm working on it. Sure. All the sheriffs always are. Um, Sue Ellen is still drinking. Pam comes by. This is the part with the vodka.
Yeah,
She kind of tells Pam what was going on. Holly tries to offer JR the small amounts, and he's like, "No, want it in lump sum." And she's like, "I need time." Pam goes to see Bobby. JR, Bobby's not in the office. JR goes to harass her in the in his office. Um, and she tell him off because like he did it to her again. She was all upset. Um, and she slaps him. It was a good slap too.
it was.
After he makes the Mark remark. um, and then like, hey, did you sleep with any more men in Paris or something?
Yeah,
She
did you
ran.
try out? Did you try? Was it only Mark, or did you try out some of the Frenchmen while you just because you were there or something like that? And I actually wonder if Victoria got him in that shot because it was a good one.
I believe they probably did because I feel like Larry Hagman was always drinking on set, so he was probably numb from alcohol as it was. So he's
Okay,
just
yeah.
like, just do it.
It was like, oh, Victoria. No.
And I feel like Larry's like that too. Like just from what I heard and read, like I feel like he'd be like, just hit me with your best shot
Yeah,
because we're
give me
gonna
a good
make it
slap.
look. It's the finale and everybody wants this. You know what I mean? Like I feel like,
Yeah,
and it was.
yeah. JR's, yeah.
She was probably like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry." Afterward, but he almost like smiled, but he was like too much in pain to like smile from.
It looked like it stung a little bit. That could have just been the acting and selling it, but it looked like it was a stingy one.
I think it was both. I think it actually probably did hurt him, and then he was just like, "Oh, get knocking for a loop." Um, Mark and Pam talk. She's saying that she's selfish, and she talks about the drill bit, the whole thing again. Donna, Ray, Lucy, and Lil do dinner. And she's like, he's like beating himself up. She's like, listen, life goes on. We gotta eat. We gotta try to do things to be there. I mean, shit happens. And I figured I'd let you talk about Lil with this one because this was kind of
That, yeah.
the
Well,
well,
I mean, it hasn't even gotten to exactly the part where it gets to later, but I don't know, the way the woman plays it, I like, she drives home this idea that, like, what was once her son isn't there. She doesn't see her child. She sees a body. She sees a vessel, like something that he's probably not even in. She's like, if he comes out, she's like, what kind of life will he have? It feels like she's looking at it almost like an old farmer way, where like if the animal's injured enough and you can't fix it, you put it down. And
yeah,
but at the same time, it's the humanity from it all, and just the way. I beg your pardon, I can't remember the bloody actress's name at the moment, but the way she does it, it's very much like this mother. She reminded me of the way my friends talk about like their child is like. So I had a friend where she's like, it's like a piece of me is out there, and she was joking, like good way. She's like, worry as a parent for her was a piece of yourself is out in the world, interacting, making its own choices, which are sometimes dangerous. and you need to teach this thing to keep itself alive because it means that much to you. It's an extension of yourself. And
Mm-hmm.
it's funny because Lil, or the actor, that during these scenes, especially as it goes later, um, there's this weird separation that's happening where it's not her son anymore. Even though it
Right.
is, it's not. And she's like, and the idea that the machine is breathing for him, that's a basic function of life, is to be able to breathe. You
Yeah.
automatically do it. You know what I mean? And yet
And
he
then
can't. What does that
after
make
she,
him?
even after she says like he'd be better off dead, and then she like gets off and like kind of leaves because she's even upset that she said it. But
Yeah. Well, as she says, God forgive me. Like, because she's obviously, the way they write her and stuff, she does seem like a very humble, possibly Christian woman, so definitely,
yeah,
like, because I've actually, like, the way she delivered it, I believed it. It's like, God forgive me, like, please forgive me for saying, like, legitimately, almost, but then it could just
right.
be the emotion of the scene. But yeah.
JR has another moment with Sue Ellen while she sleeps. Again, you should be awake for this. And then he tells Bobby that he wants a truce. And he's like, oh, I know I'm ahead or whatever, but I don't even care anymore. If I can't have Sue Ellen, I can't have my son. Like, whatever, I'm over it. And of course, that's when Pamela calls and tells Bobby that she'll give the drill bit to him. And Bobby's like, now Bobby's like torn. I'm like, man, this drama is on point. Um, Clayton offers to take Ellie away. He's like, don't let your family get to you. These are grown adult children. They should handle their own problems. And I'm taking you away, and I don't care what you say. And she's like, all right, I love running from my family. So yeah, I'll go.
There's
Basically.
barely resistance.
And that's the last time we see them for the season. They're done.
Well, like,
Um,
I know because I, in truth, though, wasn't this because Barbara Bel Geddes needed to start taking time off?
well, I don't know because I remember they come back in the first episode of the next season.
But
I
they're not
think
in a whole lot of it. I don't think. I don't feel like Miss Ellie and Clayton more so, but I don't feel like Miss Ellie's in a whole lot of season 7. She's still
maybe
main cast, but I don't feel like she's really there. I could be
maybe
wrong.
she didn't make it back to the first episode. I don't remember. I thought I remembered her coming home because of the fire, but I could be wrong.
No,
Um,
I definitely think that they're in earlier on, sort of thing. But I feel like Miss Ellie goes somewhere and then doesn't sort of come back to it till towards the end, and that's when you get like the Jessica story and all that. I can't
right.
really remember, but I feel like season
Yeah.
7 she wasn't in it as much, and then by season 8, Donna Reed obviously takes over for the year.
Ray put an ad in the paper for $50,000 for a reward if anybody knows anybody that finds this car that whatever for hit
Yeah,
and run
any
or whatever.
information, and they're like worried that all the psychos are going to be calling, which they promptly do.
They already are. And then like
Yeah,
Fenton's hitting on him about that. He's like, you made a mistake. Why would you do that? And then we see like this person in there and it pans up and it's Walt Driscoll visiting Mickey. That was terrible. And he feels awful, of course. And he's like crying. That was really
I
sad.
actually like that scene. I really like it.
Yeah.
So much about, see, that's the crux of it all, isn't it? Is that Mickey, for the story to work with the power that it has, Mickey kind of has to be the victim because he's an innocent. He's that truly innocent person out of all of this shit. Like, you could even argue to a degree that Rebecca wasn't quite as innocent as Mickey in this whole situation,
Right.
she's actively taking part of the feud. Mickey's in a hospital, possibly dying, or going to be a paraplegic for trying to do the right thing. The
Yeah.
only one trying to do the right thing.
Right. Bobby tells Pam she's done and wants a divorce. Someone finally locked the liquor up.
Yeah, it was Teresa.
In the third episode, and she's been home since the episode 26. So
Yeah, she's been off the
um,
rails for like 2 or 3 weeks at this point. Like,
but she found a bottle in the kitchen. So is Teresa not cleaning up the kitchen? What's going on there?
no, it was Burgundy
Oh,
because
that's
Teresa had locked everything up and hid everything, and she was trying. I think this isn't that the one where she was said that. Oh no, that was the other one. She found the bottle of Burgundy though.
in the kitchen. Yeah.
Mm.
And she tells JR that he destroyed her. And she throws the bottle at him as he goes upstairs and as he hears John Ross like having a nightmare or something. The next
Nice
thing you
big
know,
stain.
next thing you know, there's a doctor there giving Sue Ellen a sedative. I'm like, all right. And JR this time is like all about not sending her to the sanitarium like he was
Mm.
in early seasons. Sam tells Cliff about the drill bit, and Cliff's all pissed off. And I think she's like, "You're selfish," basically. Like they would say you're an asshole if they could. And
Yeah,
they leave. I like Catherine's look because she's like, motherfucker, turned your sister
yeah,
against you." You always said Morgan in those looks, and it's so true. She does it really good.
yeah. She does.
Like, motherfucker. Um, Fenton tells Ray that Walt Driscoll was behind the car running off the road thing, and that he killed himself, and he thought it was JR in the car. So he was trying to kill
Yeah,
JR.
JR's car, and it was over the shady business deal.
Which was
Like, yeah,
which was really dumb of Walt because he was missing. So he really could have just dressed up and made sure he got JR. Like, this was a poor plan, Walt, but I guess he's not used to trying to kill people.
well, if he was on the run type thing, right? He skipped out on bail. He's on the run.
Right.
Maybe it was even just opportunist. I don't know. I mean, it wasn't well thought out either way. But
And it
like once
makes sense.
again, Walt's not like some sort of career criminal either.
Right. He was kind of just drug into all this mess because of JR.
Yes and no. I mean, he did the wrong thing. He lost his job, and
Right.
he got involved with the wrong contacts to bring to JR. So, like, it's not like
Right.
he was exactly clean, but he
Yeah,
wasn't the type of he's not exactly like this evil person either.
right. Catherine goes to Bobby. He confides in her about Pam. Um, she so wants him. The look she's giving him. She's like, I feel so bad. And she wants his penis.
I'm so
But
sad.
whatever. He kind of like pushes her hand away or like takes her hand because she's like putting it on his face. Ray comes to South Fork ready to fight. Tells JR about Walt. JR, as always, gets nervous and like throws this weird look. I think it
Well,
was a vase.
he sees Ray advancing on him pretty much because then the way Ray looks is pretty like mental. So like he sort
Well,
of Ray starts to advance on him and he throws that friggin' what did he throw
well,
at him?
Ray also said, I'm going to kill you." So once
Yeah,
he
there's
said
the
that,
threat too.
yeah. And then, yeah, I don't know what that thing was, but it was a long, like a vase looking thing. And he
Yeah,
threw it, of course, and hit the candle behind it, and it lit up like crazy right away. Lit up what
still
is it?
not as fast as the cabin in Dynasty season 3.
True. But no, but it did it was kind of fast because it was like while they
No,
were fighting, that curtain lit up and then it lit up the whole stairwell.
but that's the
So that
thing,
was a quick one.
but what I mean though is like you remember the bit in series 3 of Dynasty, not so much the general fire when it starts, but there's a bit where not Alexis knocks herself out on her wine cooler or whatever, and that bit of wood drops down, and then it
Yeah.
just sets everything on fire. I was like, is everything doused in gasoline? Like it went so quickly. I'm
I
like, at
think
least with like this one, I felt like it actually traveled up like the 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 floor covering at least a little.
Well, I think
Like,
with Dynasty, it was just like it was a log cabin, so it was all wood. So that shit was lighting up pretty quick.
it's just the way there's a bit of that wood that drops down on the carpet, and it just kind of immediately sets on fire and like starts setting the chair on fire. I was like, oh my
Mhm.
god! And then
Yeah,
like I'm like, is it doused in gasoline? But like they all start pretty quickly. But I felt like
right,
at least Dallas. He saw the fire at least travel up the cut like the paint like the floor covering at least a little before
right.
it was just whoosh. But you know,
Well, right.
by the time you get
JR
upstairs,
toss and turn and whatever. Try to
true though,
punch
by the time you
something.
get upstairs, it looks like the whole house is on fire. So
Yeah. So yeah, John Ross and Sue Ellen are the only ones upstairs because everybody's out. Donna and Lil are at their house and all that stuff. JR knocks Ray out with the phone and runs up
mm.
the fire staircase with which I don't even know how
Seeing
he got
how
up there because it was like lit
uh,
up.
yeah, it was lit up. He gets up there, and yeah,
He would have probably lit on fire on the way up. They should have had that, but I guess they couldn't really do that. But then Ray gets up and then he kind of like falls on the way over to wherever he was going.
I believe it's like
And then,
partial. He's been knocked on the head. The smoke. He just sort
yeah,
of like collapses.
and JR falls upstairs, and that's it. Everybody, all four of them are gonna die.
It ends with an awesome picture of the hallway just in flames. So
I
like,
teared
yeah,
up. I forgot. Like I was like, I was very emotional. I was like, oh my god, holy shit! Like I don't know why. Like I knew it was coming, but I still teared up.
yeah. No,
And
I was the same. I was like getting really into it again, and I'm like, I'd forgotten just how well this shit was written.
I
Like,
know.
yeah. And
And
then
I'm
an
like, oh,
actual inferno that makes sense. Like, don't get me wrong, I usually love a good old fire, but like
right.
sometimes it seems a little like forced. This one was not.
No, it was a good one. It was a good fire, and a really good cliffhanger. And I guess they didn't want Clayton and I feel like I don't know. They could have put more people in peril, but I guess they were just like, how would Clayton and Ellie,
They
you
had the
know?
emotional element of Sue Ellen and her son, particularly the kid. Burning one child in
Um,
a house fire is uh, far more sort of like daunting than maybe three regulars dying in a house fire.
right, right. Anyway, anything else to say about these three episodes?
No, I sort of said it before about the way the drama sort of flows. How I sort of thought this is like probably their one of their best, if not their best year for build up, like towards the end.
Yeah, they were all really
Yeah,
good episodes, and it did fly. It felt like I was done watching them in like a half hour. Like they went really fast.
yeah.
All right, well, we'll bring you some more Dallas soon. Let us know what you thought of this season. Were you a big fan of season 6? Um, let us know
Is
in the
Pam an
comments.
idiot?
Yeah. Who were your favorites this season? Who were your least favorites this season? Tell us.
Yeah.
Um, thank you for joining us, and we'll bring you some more next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye.